Hello, friends and families and DPS community. My name is Javier Ibarra, Senior Media Manager of PR and host of the EDUCA in English. Today on the EDUCA DPS podcast, and in the spirit of celebrating International Women's Month, we have in the studio with us Daniela Zubia. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, Zubia.
Yes, Zubia. I knew I was going to mess that up. Professional cheerleader for the Denver Broncos. In addition, she has also been an educator at one point in her career, and she is originally from Chihuahua, Mexico. Daniela will share with us today what her journey has been like from childhood, adolescence, and the transition to being a high-performance athlete as a cheerleader in not only the national Mexican soccer team, but also for Liga MX and in the NFL since 2018. Daniela, welcome to the EDUCA DPS podcast. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for the invitation. It is a pleasure and honor for me to be here today.
It is a pleasure for us because we're celebrating Women's History Month. And when we met you, we just thought, wow, what a phenomenal person, right? And educator, which relates to what we're doing here at DPS. So thank you for coming on. I want to get into our first question for today, which is, what did you study and what has been the greatest satisfaction that education has left in your life?
Okay, I have my bachelor's degree in education. I studied in Chihuahua, Mexico. And also right now I'm still learning English. So I moved to Denver, and part of my education right now is studying English. What was special for me as an educator, it was the opportunity to have an impact, a positive impact in the students. I think that that's the most important thing to do for a teacher. If we are able to tell these kids, tell our students that they are able to do great things in their life, that you can change their minds into help them to be a great person in the community, that they can help to other people, but also that they can believe in themselves and let them know that they can achieve whatever they want in life. I think that's the most satisfying thing that a teacher can do.
I love hearing you say that because I was once a student, right? I remember being a little kid, and I was always getting in trouble because I was always talking too much in class. I didn't learn English until I was 12 years old. Wow. Here in DPS. And so Spanish was, my parents are from Mexico también. They taught me Spanish. So I excelled in math. I was really good at math.
Okay.
But never good at anything else because I didn't know the language. And so for me, I always thought I wasn't good enough until I learned that. Do you have that similar experience with your students?
Yes, I actually, part of my education as a teacher, and something that I think we need to know about our students, is that every kid, every person, they have different personalities, and the way they learn, it has to be different. You might have this kid, this student that enjoys and loves art, and that's his ability. So as a teacher, you want to encourage that part of him because it's their passion, it's what they want to do in life. So you want to encourage that. But if that student is not good at math or geography or other things, that doesn't mean that student is not smart enough or that it's not able to do great things in life. So I think we need to encourage each of their personalities and help them to grow great values so they can pursue their own dreams.
I'll share this with you. When I was growing up, I was really good at math, so I went the business route. I studied business here in Denver, and I wasn't very much of a strong writer, in my opinion, but now in this job that we currently have right now, I do a lot of writing, a lot more writing than I do math. And so it kind of, for me, it's poetic that the one thing that I thought I wasn't very good at turns out that I am now.
Yeah.
I have a quick side question about growing up in Mexico and coming up in the school system. Do they have cheerleading teams at the high school level? Because here in the United States, a lot of our high schools have cheerleading teams for like the football team, basketball team,
Yes.
soccer team. Do they have that in Mexico?
Well, I know that cheerleading history in United States, it comes from many years ago. But I think in Mexico, it's something that it's recent, it's new. In Chihuahua, I can share this because I know the coaches and I grew up there as a cheerleader. So there are some high school programs. It's still growing because the system, the organization in Mexico, we are still experimenting this new sport, but it's growing. And I know we have more private gyms than more high school programs or school programs, but it's something that it's growing right now in Mexico.
I want to get into the really interesting questions that I think our audience is going to want to know about, right? What's it like being a cheerleader? Apart from the obvious, right?
Yeah.
What do you do? What does your day look like? Do you have a different diet? what is everything that goes on to being a professional cheerleader?
Yeah. Well, I think that most of the people think that being a cheerleader is just being this athletic, energetic woman that is on the field on games days, being there encouraging the team and being there supporting the team and being with the fans. That's the idea that we all have. But this is something that I learned by becoming a Broncos cheerleader. Actually, in Mexico, being a professional cheerleading is changing right now.
Okay.
But what I knew when I was living in Mexico, it was the same that we already know, that we think, that being a cheerleader is just about dancing, being athletic, being there on game days, and that was it. But when I moved to Denver and I became a Denver Broncos cheerleader, this incredible group of women has a tremendous legacy and a great history. So I learned that being a Broncos cheerleader or being an NFL cheerleader, it's more about that. It's about we have to be these professional women. We have to be engaged with our community, with our fans, with our city.
Which is how we met. We met
Exactly.
at an event where you were handing bicycles to every single student at that school if they were in second grade, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, and you were handing out bicycles, you were helping them put their helmet on. I think you were even teaching them how to ride a bike because some of the
Yes.
students didn't know because they've never had a bike before.
Exactly.
I think that's amazing to mention that.
Yeah, so being a cheerleader, it's like this powerful, empowered woman that it has her professional career and that is a person that can go into the community and encourage and motivate people. And it's also a connection with the team and the community too.
Here at DPS, the majority of our students are of Hispanic descent. And so when you walk through the halls of our schools, you're going to see a lot of Danielas. You're going to see a lot of Javieres and a lot of Betos, right? And I think it's really important. We talk about equity. We talk about recognition. We talk about showing up. I think it's really important to showcase to our students that there are people that look like them, that have similar stories like them, achieving and succeeding, which leads me to my next question, right? Growing up in Mexico, there are some schools that have programs of cheerleading, but I can't imagine that there was a lot. And so how did that bug, how did that need, that want come into your life that you're like, okay, I want to be a cheerleader? How did that come to life?
So it started because all my life I've been very passionate about cheerleading, sports, gymnastics, dancing. So that is my great passion in life. But I think the support that I had from my family from my parents, like the discipline that they taught me to have, it helped me to decide to make this big step in my life. So I think that having that in me, like having those values in me and my personality, those were the most important thing that gave me the push to actually start to do it, to start practicing my English, well, to learn English, to train, to move to leave everything behind, to move to United States, to start from scratch and to pursue my dream. But I think that the most important things were those values that my parents and my teachers and my coaches taught me through my life.
It's amazing how far you'll go in life when you have those values, when you have that self-discipline. I often tell people that in order to achieve and to succeed, you need motivation and self-discipline. Either one will get you to do something, right? If you feel motivated to, we just passed the new year, so if you feel motivated to go to the gym and save money and all of these things, the motivation is going to get you there. But what happens when you lose motivation?
I think that when you lose motivation, it's when discipline comes, and it's something that I'm very grateful for, because my parents, since I was a little girl, they taught me what discipline is, and discipline is something that moves you to keep doing and to keep working on what you want to achieve, because sometimes, and we have to know this and to accept it, that we might not feel motivated enough to wake up in the morning and feel this great energy, and sometimes we are not positive enough about what we are doing, what we are trying. But I think that discipline is the thing that can wake you up in the morning and tells you that you have this goal, this dream, and discipline is the thing that pushes you to every day wake up and do a step or do even a little thing to go for that dream.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's important for our younger listeners who are listening into this right now, that right now they're going to see the finished product, which is Daniela, the NFL cheerleader, right? But what they don't see is Daniela waking up early. Daniela putting in the work and eating right and working out, and on top of doing another job, right? Because I know that cheerleaders have other day gigs that they work at. And I think it's important for everyone to see that the struggle is part of the journey. The struggle is what makes at the moment you get there worth it, and so that you can enjoy it.
Exactly.
Daniela, I want to ask very specifically about your journey.
Yes.
Because I think it's fascinating, right? And your journey is actually a journey that many of our students or their families have lived through or currently living, which is you were born in another country, and you came to this country and you learned the language, you learned the culture, and you are performing at a very elite level. My question for you is, okay, so you were born. How did you get to here? Walk me through that entire.
Yeah.
So, you can skip a few steps, but I want to know the need, the want. How did you get to being an NFL cheerleader from the moment you were a young girl, I assume, jumping around, jumping on the couch, doing flips and whatnot? How did you get here?
Yeah, well, since I was a little girl, I was a gymnast, and I love sports. I love working out. I love sports in general, and also dancing. I never took dance classes before I joined the Broncos cheerleaders team.
Okay.
But to become the first Mexican to become a Denver Broncos cheerleader.
Wow. Can we just pause real quick and say that?
Yeah.
You are the first Mexican cheerleader for the Denver Broncos.
Yes.
And I assume you're one of maybe 2 or 3 in the entire NFL of Latino, Hispanic descent. Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. So you're really representing our people.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
I'm super grateful for that opportunity and that experience. But well, when I came here in 2018, just as a vacation period with my parents, we had the opportunity to go to a Broncos en Español event, and I was going just as a fan. I was a cheerleader in Mexico, a competitive cheerleader.
Sure.
I was part of Team Mexico too. But I came here and I met two of the former Denver Broncos cheerleaders. And then, of course, I was like seeing them and I was excited just to be there and had the opportunity to talk using my Google Translator.
Oh, wow.
Like, I want to talk to them, but I don't know how. And I remember using my Google Translator just to say like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm actually a cheerleader in Mexico and I admire you. And the thing that I said that I think made a click inside me, I told them like, I want to be like you. But I said it just as a compliment, like, hey, you are great and I want to be like you.
Yeah. We
when
often
I grow
say
up
that.
or something like that.
They took it seriously.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow.
And then I remember the cheerleader, this beautiful cheerleader that I'm seeing as my hero, telling me, like looking into my eyes and telling me like, you should try it. Like, you know what, like you're a cheerleader in Mexico, you might have experience or you might know something. And she explained me about the audition process, that the information is in the website, and she explained a little bit. But at that moment, I felt something inside me, like a click, like a dream starting.
Yeah.
Like a
little spark. Yeah.
Exactly.
It was the vote of confidence from that person,
Yeah.
a total stranger
Exactly.
that you had met, and you couldn't communicate, but it was that vote of confidence saying, hey, you can do it.
Exactly. And then after that, I went back to Mexico to my normal life. But I remember every day waking up and thinking about it, just like looking to myself, to the mirror and being like, what if I try it? Like imagining myself wearing the chaps and being on the field and yeah.
Goosebumps, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
of course. But every day I had that in me, like that dream, like what if I try it? But also having like those inside monsters, like of course that's not gonna happen to you. Like you are a girl who comes from Chihuahua, is living in Monterrey. I have no money at all. Like I don't know English. I don't know how to dance like them, and all of those monsters. So every day was that struggle to feeling this energy that, oh, it'll be amazing if I become a Denver Broncos cheerleader. But then those monsters telling me like, of course that's not gonna happen to you. But I don't know. I guess that the accumulation of how do you say enseñanzas?
Like learning.
The learnings,
Yeah.
what I learned from
Your
my parents,
experience,
from my coaches, from all the people that had a positive impact in me. So I guess it was the
culmination of that.
the combination of those that one day I decided like, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
Like let's see how it goes. So it was a process of saving, like having all of my savings. It wasn't a lot, but like all of my savings in paying like everything to move and leave everything behind, to move to United States, to pay rent, to pay a school, and like the visa process, because that was.
I'm looking at your journey and I'm thinking of a track. You know, like a athletic field or the Olympics. You know how they have a track, and I keep thinking of the hurdles.
Yes.
Right, and so every single hurdle that you went through, except your hurdles don't just go are one height. I feel like your hurdles keep getting
exactly
taller and taller, but something in you between motivation, self-experience, or self-discipline allowed you to achieve because you're here.
Yeah,
You
and
are
actually
here.
it was, people might think that it was only to present to the stadium and do the audition and that was it. But no, it took me 2 years to wake up every morning, and actually I didn't, when I started the journey, I wasn't going to an English school, but I was thinking and I was trying to be positive and be like, okay, what do I have? Okay, I have YouTube and I have a TV show that I can turn on the captions in English and I can I started learning with the TV show Friends. So for me, if every day I could learn one word in English, that was progress.
Right.
And I also was practicing my dancing skills, watching the Denver Broncos cheerleaders YouTube videos. And I was practicing just me in my bedroom, like doing pirouettes and copying their dances, recording myself and comparing and being like, okay, I need more energy. I need to put my arm on this position or like that. So that was my my way of learning. So for me, every day, if I could do something that could took me even closer to that goal, that was progress. So after 2 years and more things that I had to do, I made it. So
I want to take a moment to recognize that, because how amazing. There are many times where you could have just said, it's easier to quit.
yeah, it's so easy to quit.
It's so easy to quit, right? You could have done it, but I think there's a word that we use, and I call it says ganas.
Yes.
Échale ganas. Tenías
Échale
ganas, right? And so I think in English it translates to grit. You had grit. You had that in you
Yes.
to keep going, right? And I think it's the resiliency that keeps you in it. It's very often, we live in a society, I think, where if it's not immediate, if it's not convenient, we tend to shy away from it.
Yes.
But we, as we both know, the things that are worth it are very hard to achieve.
Exactly.
Daniela, I want to ask you, you're from Chihuahua.
Yes.
You lived in Monterrey. I love Monterrey. Love Chihuahua.
Me too.
Yes. I have family and friends in both places. But you moved to Denver.
Mm-hmm.
How has your experience been in Denver?
It's been amazing. I have two sides of the story where I have this wonderful and beautiful side that is full of great experiences. I have met wonderful people. I love the culture. I love that this is that Denver is a city with diversity, and I love just meeting people, and I love learning from everybody from different cultures. So that is something that I love, and also that we have a big Latin community, especially a lot of people from Chihuahua. So it feels like this is home for me. But I also have this side, and I'm very, very grateful for this side. Some people might say that, oh, that it's terrible and sounds bad, but it's like moving here and having the most difficult challenges of my life that they took me to a very, very dark place. But I love that because I love the challenges, and I just love what I can learn from that. And I love that from what I learn, that makes me be a better person, to become a better person. And I'm wiser, I am more responsible, I have more energy to pursue different goals. So even though it's been super challenging to be here, I just love it, and I'm very, very grateful for that part too.
I want to talk about your support system, specifically your parents, right? Tell me, how important has it been for you to have the support system of your parents in order to achieve this professional success? And then this question's a part two, right? What did they teach you?
I think that the thing that they always taught me was discipline.
Yes.
Since I was a little girl, I remember my mom and having these fights with her, like, Mom, I really don't want to go to school. I feel terrible. I'm sick, or I don't know, I just don't want to. Or even to my gymnastics classes, like, Mom, just one day, like, please, one day. I don't want to go. And those days she was like, you are going,
right?
Because you have to go. Like, you are working on this skill, or you are working on this at school, and the only way to achieve that is to have discipline, so you are going. I was just like, Mom, no, why? Yeah, but and with my dad too. My dad, he's like a super disciplined man,
I
like
bet.
just waking up every morning like super early and
Yeah.
doing things on the house and being productive and not wasting the time. That's what that I really, really appreciate, and I'm grateful for that they taught me discipline. So I think that teaching me that was the main thing for me to decide to become this person, and to, yeah, just having that inside me was the most important thing for me to achieve things, great things in life. And I'm very, very grateful for that.
If our audience gets anything out of this interview, this podcast, is that with self-discipline, you can achieve anything in life.
Exactly.
That's the tagline for the show, right?
Yes.
Daniela, I want to ask, so we're celebrating Women's History Month. I want to ask you, who are some of your heroes? Who do you look up to? Who has been an inspiration to you throughout your journey? Because I assume you've had quite a few, starting off with that one cheerleader who gave you the vote of confidence and said,
Yes.
why don't you do it?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think I have tons of women that I follow, that I pursue. My mom, I will say, is the first one, of
Number
course.
one,
Number
yes.
one, always. But I think that through my life, I've also had great women that I took as a role models. And actually, I want to maybe share this, and I hopefully she can see this.
Okay.
My Broncos director, Shauna Peters,
Okay.
I love that woman so much,
Yes.
because she actually taught me what a great leader is, because she has this beautiful personality, but also she was the person that with her words that helped me through my Broncos audition process, because I was doubting myself, because I was super nervous during that process. But on the workshops, her words telling us that, I just want to let you guys that we are looking for people, like for girls, and we want to see your own personality. We don't want you to change anything about you, because you are beautiful, you are great, like the way you are, but we just want you
Wow.
to feel it and to show us who you are.
That's amazing.
And when I made the team, every meeting with her, it was about the same. Like, I just want you to know, guys, that you are part of this puzzle. Like, you're a little piece of this puzzle, but just be yourself and love yourself and show it. We don't want you to change. Just like trust on who you are and love who you are. And that was it. So I think, yeah, I will say her.
What a positive message, and shout out to those women that you just honored in this show. I'm sure they're going to see it, because we'll make sure that they see this show and hear it, because they can hear it on any podcast. Daniela, I want to share this with you, right? Our audience is made up of educators like yourself, parents, students, and specifically young women who are listening and watching right now. What would you tell them about fighting for your dream? And what would you tell them if they happen to be facing some adversity while chasing their dream?
Yeah, I will tell them that the most important thing is that they need to believe in themselves, because sometimes we think that we need a person next to us, or like an outside motivation to push us to pursue that dream. But I think that the main thing that we all need is to believe in ourselves.
Absolutely.
If we have, as you said, that spark inside of us, and we are sure what we are, what we like, what we want, and we work on our inside personality, we can achieve anything, because we of course need people around us, people that support us, people that love us and that help us through our processes. We cannot do things alone by ourselves. But I think that the main thing, the main motivation to actually stand up and pursue our dreams is that spark inside of us.
It
So-
starts within us.
Exactly.
I'm often reminded if I'm chasing my dreams, and I know that you're chasing your dreams, right? It's hard for us to help others to chase their dreams if we're still trying to chase our dreams. So it has to start with you, right? It has to be, if you don't have it, who else is going to be your number one vote of confidence, right?
Yes.
Daniela, this has been amazing. We're getting closer to the end of the show, but I want to ask, where can we see more of your professional career? Where can you see more of you high flying and doing a lot of the acrobatic things that I know I can't do? Where can we find you?
Of course. You guys can find me in my personal Instagram, which is Nanis Subia. Nanis, that's not my name, but that's how my friends in Mexico call me.
That's your nickname.
Yeah, and I'm actually an Auntie Nanis too.
Oh,
That's my nickname. Yeah.
Very cute.
So it's Nanis Zubia. You can find me there, or in my Facebook as Daniela Zubia too.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Is there a final message that you want to give to our audience?
I will say that enjoy your life. This is a very beautiful and unique opportunity that we all have to do as much as you can. When life ends, I think that we want to make sure that we want to look back and be proud of what we did. So go out and try your best every day and enjoy this beautiful life.
What a beautiful message. Thank you so much, Daniela. This concludes our EDUCA DPS podcast for today. Thank you to our very special guest, Daniela, who we would like to ask all of our audience to help share this episode with all of your friends, your relatives, and the DPS community. For this and more DPS multimedia productions, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Denver Public Schools Plus. You can also find us on any main podcast platforms. Just look for the Denver Public Schools Podcast. I need help, Daniela, with this last part. I want to make sure that our audience remembers to tell their children more often. And can you help say this with me right here?
Yes. I believe in you, and I know you can do it.
Until next time, thank you so much.